What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical average American here today to react and learn about how Norway's government works. As an American, I can tell you, growing up in our history classes in our government and economy courses, we were not taught much about how governments outside of the United States work. So I really don't have any clue about how Norway's government is structured and works and who's in charge and voting and politics or anything like that at all. I have no idea. So I want to fix that today. And I was trying to find a video that could explain this to me. I was trying to find articles or something on the internet, and I just could not find anything that did a good job explaining how Norway's government works. So today is going to be a little different. We're going to use AI. We're going to talk to ChatGPT and ask the AI to tell me, with its knowledge of everything on the internet, everything it knows about how Norway's government works. And hopefully it does a good job. It usually does. If you've used ChatGPT before, you just type it questions. And it basically uses its entire knowledge of the internet that it's been trained on to answer whatever questions you ask it in a pretty easy to understand way. So, starting with, explain to me how Norway's government works in very simple terms. I need it to be simple. All right. Oh, here we go. Sure, Norway has a parliamentary democracy, which means that the people elect representatives to make decisions on their behalf. Sounds exactly like America. Here's a simplified explanation of how Norway's government works. Okay, the king and queen. Okay, well, that's one of the only things I do know about Norway, is that there is a royal family, a monarchy. I don't believe they actually play an important or meaningful role in passing laws anymore, I believe. Norway is a constitutional monarchy, which means it has a king or queen as its ceremonial head of state, right? However, the monarch's role is mostly symbolic, and the position is hereditary, right? So, has a king, queen, all that. They are good representatives of Norway, from what I've seen. Number 2, Norway has a parliament. Okay. The main decision-making body in Norway is called the Storting. The Storting. Okay. It consists of 169 members who are elected by the people in the regular elections. The Storting is responsible for making laws and decisions that affect the country. Oh, so this is a very important one. The decision-making body, the Storting. So these people are all elected representatives of Norway? Kind of like in America, how we have like a House of Representatives and a Senate, which are representatives of all the different states. These probably represent different parts of Norway, different regions, and stuff like that, I imagine. They're elected. How often are they elected? Maybe I can look that up real quick. How often are the Storting members elected in Norway? Okay, just to answer that question real quick. The elections are typically scheduled to take place on the second Monday of September every 4 years. Oh, every 4 years. Okay, very good. Okay, so that is a gigantic body of 169 members. And they, vote on stuff, I imagine? I can look that up later. More details about the Storting. That's good, that's good. I have never heard of that before. Political parties. Before elections, different political parties present their ideas and policies to the public. The party that wins the most seats in the Storting forms the government? So the Storting has lots of different political parties in it, and whichever party has the most members who are elected, therefore making the biggest party, is the party that wins the most seats forms the government? They get to form the government. I'm not sure what that means. Sometimes parties form coalitions and work together if no single party has a majority. So whoever the biggest party is has the majority and gets to like run the government, kinda? The biggest political party with the most elected officials? The government. The government is led by the prime minister. Oh, Norway has a prime minister. That was another question I had. Like, America obviously has a president, and I know other countries have different titles for different leaders, and so Norway has a prime minister. The prime minister, how is the prime minister elected? Prime minister is usually the leader of the party or coalition that won the most seats during the sorting. Okay, so let me get this straight. The sorting has 169 members that are voted in every 4 years by the people of Norway. So it's very democratic, very, very democratic. The officials are elected directly by the people, and then, depending on what party has the most elected officials, the head of that party becomes the prime minister. The leader of that party is the prime minister. Okay. The prime minister appoints ministers from their own party or coalition to manage different government departments, such as finance, education, or health. So the majority party that's in control, the prime minister, they really have a lot of power. They are assigning representatives to all the different government departments, and they're going to be from their party. So whoever is the majority party really has a lot of power. Who's the current prime minister of Norway? Let me see. Who is the prime minister of Norway? I'm a little embarrassed I don't know this, but better late than never. As of 2021, Erna Solberg was prime minister. Okay, I think I have to Google it. Prime minister of Norway. Who's the prime minister? Oh, it's not her. In 2021, it became Jonas Gahr Store, is a Norwegian politician who has served as the prime minister of Norway since 2021 and has been leader of the Labour Party. So the Labour Party must have come into power in 2021. They must have become the largest party or the biggest coalition because the prime minister changed. So the majority party must have changed to the Labour Party. He served under Prime Minister Jens Stoltenberg, okay, as Minister of Foreign Affairs. Cool. 62 years old. Well, I'm glad I know who the Prime Minister of Norway is now. Feel like it's embarrassing that I didn't know that. Jonas Gahr Store. Okay, cool. Very good. Lawmaking. When a proposed law called a bill is introduced into the Storting, it goes through several stages of discussion and voting. If the majority of the members agree, the bill becomes a law. So this is a lot like the American government in some ways. We have two legislative bodies, the Senate, which has like only 50 members, and then the House of Representatives, which has hundreds of members, whereas Norway has only one body called the Storting, and it's made up of lots of political parties. What are the Norwegian political parties? What are the Norwegian political parties? Let's see here. Oh wow. Norway has several political parties representing a range of ideologies and interests. Here are some of the prominent political parties in Norway. Labour Party, or Arbeiderpartiet. I'm sure I did not say that right. A Social Democratic Party, traditionally the largest party. Okay, the Labour Party. See, America doesn't have a Labour Party. Whoa! Oh my gosh, this list of parties, keeps going. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different political parties? The United States really only has 2, and it's terrible. It's terrible. I am so jealous of this. This is fantastic. I didn't even know a country could have 9 political parties, because I just think having the biggest, most diverse set of ideas and opinions leads to the greatest outcome, hopefully. Having the most conversation and the most diverse set of ideas. And that can only happen if you have a lot of different political parties, which are basically political points of view. And America only has two, Democrat and Republican parties, and that is it. Um, I can't believe Norway has 9. I've never even heard of some of these. Conservative Party, Høyre, Center-Right Party, often associated with liberal and conservative policies. Okay, a little different than the American Conservative Party. Progress Party. I love these names. Labor Party, Progress Party. Is the Labor Party like in favor of helping laborers, like people working and whatnot? Is that where the name comes from? Progress Party, right-wing populist and liberal conservative party. These are really specific. I don't even know what some of these mean. Center Party, agrarian and regional party advocating for rural and environmental issues. There's a whole party for rural and environmental issues. Wow. Nice. Very Norwegian. Socialist Left Party. Oh, a socialist party. Left-wing socialist party focusing on social justice and environmental concerns. Wow, see, I'm getting that the Norwegian political parties there's so much more and so much more specific, so much more unique. So you can really find the party with the most specific points of view that match up with you personally. Right now in America, you either have to be a Democrat or a Republican, conservative or liberal. There's only two. And it doesn't matter if you agree with everything that party does or says. You have to be a part of one of them. And oftentimes, that doesn't adequately cover your opinions, just two parties. So this is so much better. So much better. Wow. Liberal Party, Centralist Party, emphasizing individual freedom, market economy, and environmental issues. Christian Democratic Party, Green Party, Red Party, far left socialist party, focused on social justice and workers' rights. Wow! 9 political parties. So all of these different political parties are represented in the Storting? Yes, the Storting. And right now the Labour Party, yes, with Jonas Gahr Store is leading, has the majority. I think I get it. This is great stuff. I had no idea about anything in terms of government for Norway or politics or anything. This is really fascinating. Also to like compare it to America, it honestly makes America seem quite crude and primitive with our two-party system, you know? What else do we have? Okay, so the way that bills and laws are passed are by several stages of discussion and voting. Okay, well, in America, even after a law is passed in the House of Representatives, the president can still veto some things. So I don't know if the prime minister has that level of power or not. Checks and balances. That's what America likes to say that we have, checks and balances. Several different branches of government that can like make sure power is distributed. Norway has a system of checks and balances to ensure that power is distributed and not concentrated in one place. Right. That's why we don't just have a president. You have to have a president and lots of other bodies that vote. The judiciary, consisting of courts and judges, interprets the laws and ensures that they are followed. This maintains a fair and balanced system. Okay, like America. America has a judicial branch, and so does Norway. We call them branches of government. I'm not sure what Norway calls them. Local governments. Right, Norway has local governments, known as municipalities, that handle local matters such as schools, roads, and healthcare within their respective areas. That makes so much sense. In America, we have local governments as well for the states and then within the states. Like cities and towns have mayors, or senators or governors. And they get to basically, I mean, in the United States, the different states can have drastically different laws and drastically different ways of running the states. The states can be very, very different from each other with entirely different governing bodies. It's crazy. And then we have the overarching federal government that manages the entire United States. It gets a bit complicated, but sounds like Norway has something kind of similar with the Storting and the judicial courts and the prime minister kind of managing Norway as a whole. And then you also have local governments for the municipalities in different regions that handle really, really, really specific stuff, like the schools and the rebuilding your pothole and healthcare. They have some autonomy, but still operate under the laws and regulations set by the national government. Okay, this makes so much sense. I really love how Norway's government is set up. I think this makes so much sense. So, in America, we just vote for our president, like in one election. And it's like, and that's it. If you like them, you like them. If you don't, you don't. But in Norway, the prime minister is kind of voted by having the most popular political party in the Storting. That then the leader of that party becomes prime minister. The prime minister is not directly voted for, like in America, but kinda. I'm sure in Norway, you kinda know who is going to become prime minister if you vote a certain way, or I'm guessing there's some. I don't know for sure. It just seems like that's my instinct. Let's see if it can explain the Storting in Norway. The Storting. I want to learn more about that. That seems like a very, very important part of Parliament. The Storting is the national parliament in Norway. It is the supreme legislative body in the country. The Storting has these functions. It consists of 169 representatives, known as members of parliament, or MPs. Okay, we call ours like, House of Representatives. Kind of similar. Not MPs, though. These MPs are elected by the Norwegian people in general elections every 4 years. The country is divided into multiple electoral districts. The number of representatives from each district is determined based on the population, exactly like in the United States. Wow. Norway, the government in Norway is very, very similar to the government in the United States in many ways. It just seems better and more diverse. And based on a lot of other stuff I've seen about Norwegian healthcare and laws and education, I know that Norway's policy making is definitely much, much smarter and better than America's. So I'm guessing the representatives are doing a good job. Legislative power. The Storting holds the power to make laws and regulations. The MPs propose bills and engage in debates, just like in America. Okay. When a bill is introduced, it goes through several stages of discussion, review, and voting. That's great. That's great to hear as well. Lots of discussion, lots of scrutiny. Everyone can give their opinion and say really find out if this is the best course of action for Norway or not. Makes a lot of sense. Government oversight. Oh, the Storting plays a crucial role in overseeing the government and holding it accountable. Perfect. That is very good. MPs have the authority to question ministers and scrutinize their actions and policies. Excellent. Excellent to hear. Norway is very self-analyzing, self-scrutinizing. Through interpellations and parliamentary inquiries, the Storting ensures that the government is acting in the best interest of the people. That might be the most important line in this whole video. The Storting ensures the government is acting in the best interest of the people. At the end of the day, that is what government exists for, and sometimes it can get a little out of control. Power is a crazy thing. So to have a governing body, the Storting, where they are representatives of the people. If they don't do a good job, they'll be voted out. They are there to fight for what the people need. That's the whole point. That's the whole point. That is fantastic to hear. Budgetary authority. The Storting is responsible for approving the national budget. MPs review and debate the proposed budget presented by the government, make changes, and decide on its allocation of funds. Oh wow, I was just learning about Norwegians and if Norwegians are happy with their taxes. And many Norwegians were happy with how their taxes are spent, but not totally content. There are some things the Norwegian government could do better, they were saying. And that is kind of the role of the MPs, to review and debate the budget to make sure it's adequately serving the people. Representation. MPs in the Storting represent the interest and concerns of their constituents. Okay? The Storting is seen as a forum for democratic deliberation and representation. Yeah, this is all, like, very, very democratic. Like, it reminds me a lot of what America's trying to do. Committees. The Storting has various committees that specialize in specific policy areas. These committees thoroughly review bills, conduct investigations, provide recommendations. Very nice. Decision making. Yes. Passage of laws, voting. A majority vote is required for most matters. Although some important decisions, like changes to the Constitution, require more of a majority. Okay. The Storting is the fundamental institution in Norway's political system. That is so great to learn about that. That is honestly, because I went into this not knowing at all, like anything about Norway's government or how it's run, and to learn about this body of elected officials, the Storting, the different parties, and the Prime Minister, and how laws are voted in, gives me such a better idea overall of how Norway is run, how things work, how laws are put into place, how people are voted into power. Pretty important stuff. And I think it's so crazy that in America, we're not really taught too terribly much about these types of things in regards to other countries, very important countries like Norway. So I don't know why that is, but I'm glad eventually now I know, which I'm very happy with learning about this. I think ChatGTP did a pretty good job of explaining the Norwegian government. So I enjoyed this. I feel educated. Anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Norway and Norwegian culture and stuff about Norway that I've never learned before, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.